Hey, and you can clearly see that we are Trekker's Delight, and we are going to be talking about episode 9 of Star Trek Picard, Vox. I have with me the inimitable Jermaine Watson, Jason McCammon, Will Wofford, and Keith Shevlin. I, of course, am Marie Brownhill from Game Industry News. And yeah, this one was intense. I mean, and I say that in what has been an intense season thus far. Let's be real.
Yeah.
We finally got the answers we were looking for. We have new questions just in time to roll into that final episode. So before we get into it, bean footage.
All right.
All right. So we have a lot of talk to. Bleh. And I was doing so well too, guys. I really was.
You were on a roll.
I know. So, and I was congratulating myself that I was on a roll. So clearly I had to be punished. All right. So we've got a lot to talk about. Who's going to fall on the summary sword this week? Not it.
Oh, Wofford. What's happening?
Well, okay. I guess.
I was last week. Oh no, I wasn't here last week. I was week.
No, that was me. I fell on it last week.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, now we can.
Okay, sweet. Okay, good. Like really good. I wasn't really sure because I can't hear myself.
Oh, you sound good.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you, Jason. I'm very flattered. Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
I'll make this as quick as I possibly can.
Is
Jack
that
and
possible
Deanna,
on this show?
Well,
No,
let's see.
it's really not, but we'll try.
Okay.
Jack and Deanna try to understand what's behind the red door and the red vines. I'm gonna move. Deanna tells Picard and Beverly that the Borg is behind it all and that Jack is dangerous. Picard has the duty of telling his son that he has inherited a Borg gene, and this leads Jack to want to confront the Borg Queen herself. Geordi then tells Picard there's more to Jack's powers. All of Starfleet can fall under the spell of the Borg because of him, thanks to the transporter. They've used Picard's genetics to encode human common data that all species use when beaming up. And by the way, okay, a human and all of these other species, I don't know, that was a big question mark for me. But then
we can talk about that. I got this.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about that. Yeah.
Okay. They decide to basically head straight to Frontier Day. Admiral Shelby, flashback, is leading Frontier Day. Picard hails her to warn her and all of Starfleet of the coming doom. The Borg sends a signal which begins the conversion process for all those who are younger than 25. They then
wow.
What?
Nothing. Just younger than 25. Go ahead.
There's a fight scene on the Titan where Shaw is shot and dies, but not before telling 7 of 9 that the Titan is hers now, and she has the con. And then this leads the crew of the Titan. Well, actually, they depart the Titan and they go to a Starfleet museum where Geordi then lets them know that he has refurbished the Enterprise D. And I don't know, my tear ducts just
It
let
was a
loose.
thing. It was a thing, right? It was a
I was
thing.
really like, for the sake of the integrity of this show, I was trying to contain just how excited I was, how much I screamed, how much I cried, how much I cried, how much I screamed, and that I probably rewatched that 2 minute last bit scene at least 50 times today. Like
Also, do we want to talk about what's going on with Jack?
I thought he was a paw wraith. I'm sorry. I thought he had like a paw wraith in him. I really did. Like
I mean,
Nothing was the only thing that was pointing towards Paw Wraith was the
The
red
eyes.
eyes. Everything
Yeah.
else was pointing Borg.
real hard.
down
How did we know that a bunch of red clouds was gonna say Borg? Like,
It was less the red clouds and more his obsession with connection.
yeah,
And the fact that he's able to take people over, because that's kind of the Borg thing, right? Which is
right.
to take away choice.
Right.
Effectively, the Borg represent the ideals of Starfleet and the Federation taken to a true
max.
terrible extreme.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, I mean, they dialed that shit up past 11, right?
Mhm.
And inevitably, what happens is we end up with something that is a very perverted version of what we're looking for.
Right. It was kind of summed up that one statement that Picard made when he was just like the irony of Shelby leading
I
to
know.
their day.
Yes.
And
Right.
Of all the people, that was perfect.
I know. I was so excited to see Admiral Shelby. Also, super excited that she outranked Riker.
Yeah.
For no
Right.
good reason.
It makes perfect sense.
and like, was she like a five pip admiral? Like what? Like she was? I thought I saw five.
Yeah, I saw 5.
It was
Okay.
5.
It looked like Fleet Admiral to me. So
Dude,
Yeah, I knew as
you
soon as-
lost me. You lost me after Admiral. I mean, all I saw is that she was Admiral Elizabeth Shelby, and I was like, yeah, dog. And I bet every time you run into Riker, you're just like, oh, wait a minute, let me buff that for me. I've got something on my shirt.
Gotcha.
No,
I
but
knew,
that
I knew as
wasn't
soon
his
as they had
trajectory,
the
though.
as soon as they had all the ships that were, as soon as they said, oh, they're all going to be unified and work in unison in one collective formation, I was like, oh, that's going to be a bad idea.
Also, can we talk about the branding there for a second? Like, literally, the only thing they could come up with to describe that was synchronization.
yeah.
Well done, Starfleet. Well done. You can't tell me that you do not have a PR officer battalion floating around somewhere.
That reminded me a lot of Prodigy at that moment. When
A little bit, yeah. With naming conventions, that's fair.
when all the ships started firing each other and got taken over.
Well, at least we now know that the Enterprise wasn't really there. Like, we now know that something with Worf happened that caused the destruction of the Enterprise E.
That was not his fault.
It wasn't his fault, but he was there.
Well, we don't have confirmation of that yet. That's still the mystery. It's more the uncomfortable joke that everyone has now.
So basically, a bunch of tribbles got onto the Enterprise E. Worf said, "Fuck it," and he said, "Fuck this shit." And then he sent the ship across the space rift to species 8472 for food, and then it got fucked up over there. Pardon my French. I'm sorry. I won't cuss anymore. And that happened. I know, right? And that happened. And now we're back into B canon, where the Enterprise E really was destroyed by species 8472. Blase, blase, blase. I'm just saying. Now everything is all good. Speaking of paw wraiths, yeah.
Oh yeah, Commander Potwraith. Yeah.
Yeah, as if someone would ever take my place.
No.
I am the demander of paw wraiths. Hashtag it.
Anyway, so what I was saying was,
Paul Wraith's got him.
Oh,
It's what happens, man. It's what happens when you throw your lot in with the devil. Gotta say.
I mean,
I'm just saying.
I'd make a water boy joke, but like I think maybe 3 of us on this call are old enough to like remember that.
All of us that can't be taken over.
Right. I mean, it's
all of
really
us cannot
disturbing.
be
I think
taken
we'd
over,
only
yeah.
lose William, actually.
no, because it's anyone under the age of 25. Because if it makes sense, that's you stop growing at the age of 25. That whole thing was giving Gen Z versus Boomers, and I'm going.
Oh no, this was very much like I actually kind of struggled a little bit with this because I was like, this is very, very much almost basically
Let's say it,
almost
yeah.
almost calling out younger individuals for being
And it's
weaker
true. Being
or lesser
assimilated by
than.
technology is so easily assimilated by the microwaveisms of technology.
And
It's
I'm over
true.
here, thinking to myself, y'all have titanically cocked this up. So like, I don't think you get to say anything.
Yeah.
I
I'm
am
totally not.
okay. Let me come out of this particular closet. I am ambivalent about this episode
All right, go ahead.
because on the one hand, getting to see them back on the bridge of the Enterprise D, yes, possibly one of those. Yeah, that right there. I had the vapors. That was amazing and it was fantastic.
That wasn't me.
That other moment where Data puts his hand on Picard's shoulder, knowing not to offer comfort, and also asking if that's what Picard wanted, which is fantastic. Those were great moments. But y'all, this episode did Jack dirty.
Yeah.
Oh, by
in a
making
very
him the
major
Borg,
way.
making him the Borg prince.
Not even that. I mean, it's so first off, we're doing everything we possibly can to remove this guy's agency. I mean, to the extent that Troy's the one who opens the red door, not Jack, who's been, tortured by this now for 9 episodes. So Troy goes through, sees the Borg, shits herself, pops out of the mind meld. I mean, yes, I know it's not a mind meld before somebody says something. Pops out and runs off to his parents to tell them, oh, by the way, BT Dubs.
Lock him up. Lock him up.
Yes, and throw away the key. So I'm sitting here kind of like, that makes absolutely no sense.
It's like, oh, well, maybe
also, you have an
shouldn't
obligation
open
now
that
to your
door.
patient that you should possibly, I don't know, tell the man what's in his head.
She has an obligation to Starfleet.
Does she though? Starfleet has shat the bed.
Well, no, okay, an obligation to people in general, the greater good,
Right.
I mean, yeah,
but it's not the greater good. Like, that's part of the problem here. This is one of those, cliche stock Trek moments where if somebody had sat down and had a legitimate conversation, we could possibly have avoided the partial assimilation of Jack that we get at the end of in the middle of the episode.
Right. Especially since they didn't really know what he is. They
have no idea.
They didn't take to figure it out.
Why are they sending him to the Vulcans, guys? Like, why are they sending him to the Vulcan Asylum?
He said that. You said why.
No. Hold on. I'm getting there. They have a perfectly good, tame, friendly Borg conclave.
Right.
Who would be better to teach someone how to use Borg technology without losing their independence and their sentience and their autonomy than Borg, who have done that and who have literally hundreds of years experience avoiding the bad Borg.
I just want to know where the hell is Girardi at.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I just want to know, because I would have thought she would have at least assimilated the bad Borg by now.
Do you think she was? Do you think that's her?
No,
that is 100% Alice Krieg. By the way,
that's absolutely. I'm so glad you brought her back.
It sounds like Alice Krieg.
Because all of us have been wondering ever since Voyager, how bad did Janeway and Admiral Janeway and Seven and all of them screw up? Unimatrix Zero. You know what I'm saying? Like the collective. Like how bad was it? Are they? And you saw they had to go hide in some nebula, But so I mean, now we know where the bad
That's
Borg
what
is
you
at.
do in Star Trek is you hide in a nebula.
I mean, that's what nebulas are for. I don't know if you knew that. That's actually in the fine print. That's an SOP for Star Trek, for Starfleet.
Yeah, absolutely.
But even so, so we screw that part up, right? Like, why Vulcan? I don't know.
Because they do mind melds and they do.
No, they teach people how to control.
Yeah, they teach people how to control it.
Again, literal Borg.
Yeah, it's almost
literal
like they were
friendly Borg, guys.
It's almost like they were trying to make a connection to Strange New Worlds.
Yes, that's absolutely.
That's the place that the Pring works.
Yes, absolutely. And no, I do not, in fact, want to send poor Jack to the Vulcan Asylum. Yeah. And and then he's looking at Picard, going, with legitimately, why are you doing this to me? Like, who do you see when you look at me? And Picard doesn't answer because Picard's up his own ass about being Locutus. It's French for Heidi, please.
Oui,
Oh,
Marco,
wow.
oui.
Marco, c'est pas ça, hein? C'est pas ça du tout. Hein?
It's what?
But
If I
and
didn't
now I've
know it
lost
was
my
French, I
now
would
I've lost my
swear
train
it
of
was
thought.
African.
Thanks,
I love it.
Marco.
Right? Well, Marco's like, everyone's like, oh god, she derailed it. He derailed her. It's great. Thank you. No, but like this is Jack's. I mean, Jack's looking at these people going, you have betrayed me. Like you have decided on your own that I'm a danger and that you have to step in and do something drastic with me rather than having a conversation.
It's not
Rather
even
than
drastic.
acknowledging
It's not
who I
really
You put
drastic. Though. It's
Starfleet
just
before
It's
me.
drastic. Yeah.
it taking them someplace.
They went straight to
But it's
Starfleet
pretty-
protocol.
I
Pretty
think
fucking drastic,
I,
dude.
I think there's definitely two sides to this because on one hand, Picard having no experience as a father definitely screwed up in that moment where he could have saved that moment. And two, I believe that his behavior was definitely influenced by the Queen because you got to think about it. Not only is Jack the son of Picard and Beverly, but he's also the son of Locutus and the Borg Queen. If you really think about it,
I
about it.
mean,
Or
dude's
He
got
said,
four parents. It's great.
I mean, hey, like, like, it's kind of like that. So I felt like a part of Jack's behavior was influence to
I don't
be.
even think that. I mean, I
Batman
think,
Zero.
I
Jack
Well, I'm not
Four.
saying I'm not saying completely influenced to the point like he was coerced to go there. No, but like easily swayed to go there. You know what I'm saying?
well, I
Well,
think,
well, I
this-
think he was
I
been.
think what he does. Oh, I'm sorry, Jason. You go.
I was just
And
gonna say, I think he's probably pulled there in some manner, in
I
a
mean-
way. He's been pulled there, and now that he
Agreed.
knows where to go.
absolutely,
it was-
absolutely. But for him to have made this choice, it's the betrayal of the people he perceives as loving him that drives him to rebel and drives him to do so in the most self-destructive way possible.
He literally
Like a
walked
teenager
right
or a child.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I got to tell you, like, you can be a child and be 25.
He'd be
You're
a
not
child and be
wrong.
35.
Except that, well, okay, so I hear what you're saying, but what he wanted to do was in his mind he wanted to kill the Borg Queen, and she says to him, "If you could, you would have already," as if to say, "Nah, you, no matter what you think you can do, you can't kill me." So I really
have
do
built that
believe-
as one of the third laws. Yeah.
I really do believe that what he wanted to do was he wanted to end it, right? And she just took over.
Yeah, but that's him
I think
thinking
that's
he's still at
when
power.
I think that's when he gets there. I'm talking about
right.
I'm talking about the thought process when he basically tells both Picard and his mother to fuck off.
Yeah, but he also said in that moment, no, I'm gonna deal with this myself.
Yeah,
Right.
but that's the point. Like he wouldn't have been driven to that point if they hadn't made him feel isolated.
I feel all of that because it's like like I said, Picard royally screwed up in that moment. But I'm not gonna lie, if Jack had a best friend on that ship, I kind of wanted that best friend to slap the cahoots out of Jack, like,
Right. 100%.
because it's like, bruh, like, dude, like, how
I'm gonna
you
need you to
fu-
say that word again.
Which is what Beverly tried to do. She was just
Right.
like, "You're gonna get yourself killed." Like,
Okay.
and that's the parent that he really does love
So-
and really
so
Okay,
how-
can we
trusts.
segue into Beverly Crusher's A+ parenting right now?
because
If
she
she
tried
couldn't,
to stop.
if she couldn't stop him, then nobody,
Then
no
nobody
best friend was
So
gonna be able to stop.
one. Why the hell did she let Jean-Luc Picard go in to have this conversation by himself with Jack?
Right. He
Because
said,
I gotta tell you-
I'll do it. She should have been like, no.
Let's do it together.
I know
Exactly.
the boy.
Exactly.
That's what they should have done.
Because I gotta tell you, if somebody came to me and told me that there was something weird about one of my kids' brain architecture, you best believe that I would be there talking to them.
Mhm.
I think that was some parental guilt on her part. The fact that she kept Picard's son from him,
Just-
and also thinking if anybody understands what he's probably going through in this moment, it's probably Picard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
No,
but
she
again-
should have been in the
because we have
room.
two guilts on both sides. We have a mother who kept for a time, not all the time, but who kept her son from his father. That's on one side. And then on the father's side, him feeling total overwhelming guilt because the Borg gene, which we didn't even know could happen. But even though, if you actually remember the line, Beverly did say it in Best of Both Worlds, his DNA is being rewritten, which kind of falls in line with what we saw. So now he feels guilty that his Locutus gene was passed on to his son. He's like, dang, what do I do? At this point, it's like a Titanic series of events that I feel like it's like, dang, everyone doesn't really know what to do, so they're all kind of effing up right now. It's like, oh crap, like what do you do in that moment? Emotions are heightened, guilt is everywhere.
Fear
what
and
can
guilt.
you do?
So 100% would have been in that room with my kids.
Yeah, that should have
Like,
been.
I'm not
something
bending. I'm not
they
bending
both
on that
of them
one.
did. From both their perspective, they both should have been there, no doubt about it.
Absolutely. And, you know, there's a lot that Beverly should have been doing with Jack that she hasn't been doing. She's been very hands off. And I get that he's 25, he's a grown ass man, blah, blah, blah. But he's also in this incredibly stressful situation where he's meeting the father he believed hated him in the at least in the abstract.
Right.
And he's discovered in rapid succession he went from having a fatal brain disease to being Borg in like, I don't know, 3 episodes.
Yeah.
All the while discovering that he can control people, yada yada. I mean, you cannot tell me that he's not going to need some sort of stability. And at this point, the only stable influence in his life that's on that ship
is Beverly.
So,
And I get that she's dealing with her stuff. I do. But
not the moment for her to be quiet and to take a step back.
So how has this only happened to Picard? And it just, I know I'm just saying that they've assimilated tons of people, and I'm just wondering.
No, when they assimilated him to be something different, something special. He was the first Borg to be given a name.
Right.
He still retained some of his humanity, even though they took everything from him.
And they tried to do it again with 7, but it didn't exactly work.
Well, they tried to do it with Data.
Oh yeah, they tried to do it with Data. Because you notice Data's a little nervous to sit down in that chair. He's like, "You sure this ain't a part of the?" Because I'm not doing this again. Like,
he's like, wait a minute, I'm in here. I got the T-shirt. I don't want it yet.
The extent of my assimilation was me banging the Borg Queen. That's it. Like,
Mr. Pirate,
we were all jealous.
When you came back, there was something. It looked like there was something you wanted to say.
Oh, it was just noting Marie Empathy Brownhill, in that I agreed with her a lot on Crusher, but
also I love you. I think that's the first time in my life I've been accused of having empathy.
And I was very shocked, and I think that I think just in your description you are giving Jack a lot more empathy and a lot more leeway than I gave him in my analysis, because I looked at him as like a spoiled child that, like, bruh, shut up. Like, I mean,
I ain't gonna lie. Part of me looked at him as like a little spoiled brat, just for a part of me.
Yeah, he definitely got
small part.
Oh, he definitely has that.
I'm like, literally, we don't know who you are, we don't know what's going on, and we say, hey,
More to the point, we don't know what you are.
Yeah, what you are, excuse me. But we don't know what you are. Go chill out with some Vulcans for a little while. In my mind, I'm like, okay, yeah, Vulcans aren't the best, but we know it's all centered around this day. Like take some time. Take 3 weeks. Go chill out over here. You, in this point in your life, you literally live to be like 140. 3 weeks is no time.
It's not like sending him to the Vulcans is like going to a gay rehabilitation camp. It's not like that at all.
I mean, I sort of feel
It's
like
not.
that's happened.
But that's how he treated it. Like, I'm sitting here like, bruh, if Tuvok can calm Kess down for another minute, I'm pretty sure the Vulcans can help. I mean, I'm just saying, like, that was Tuvok calming Kess down. That's it. Like, bruh, like,
Kess was a 3-year-old.
Kess melted Tuvok's face off.
I guess I'm looking at Jack and seeing just the totality of the stuff that he's dealing with emotionally.
Right.
And all of this is definitely going to bring down his tolerance level and certainly bring down his rationality level. Let's be real. And I think it comes to a head. And my point here, I guess that I'm trying to make is that it didn't have to.
Of course
Right.
not.
I here's where I get upset, and I know that there's a difference, and Marie's going to point it out, and probably Keith is going to point it out as well. I can see it. I should see your minds already going, but I think back.
I don't see any red contacts, dude.
I'm waiting. I'm just waiting.
But I think back to Jack's age. Jack is 25.
Yeah.
32.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere in there. But early to mid 20s. And thinking to his age, I think back to the fact that like a Geordie LaForge was literally like in command of a starship at 23, 22, and was like, listen, we got a mission here. We gonna split this salsa section off and save these lives.
Oh
and
yeah.
shit jump. And so like I just
He
look
didn't
at
have Starfleet training though. You know what I'm saying?
He
Like
didn't.
Exactly.
for him, it was all about
He didn't
himself.
have it, and he didn't want it.
I expected it from Keith. I expected it from Marie. I never expected it from you.
What?
I don't know how to take that, Jermaine. I think he's literally calling you like, hold on.
I would, like outside in the real world, I probably would have cursed you out, but it's something different right here.
He's telling you,
So let's continue.
he's telling you to step outside real quick. Go step outside.
But no, like,
Marie, even if they, I feel like even if they would have sat him, both walked in there and sat him down, they still would have came to the same conclusion of saying, look, you got to do this. And it still would have built up. Maybe it would have been slower build as they talked about it first, but I think they still would have been like, at the end of that conversation, like, no, man, you need to go somewhere where it's safe, where you're safe and people can watch you.
In the middle of the night, he would have gotten a dream and he would have said, I'm out of here.
Well, yeah, I mean, all of that's entirely possible and all of that would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I really think that if they had actually, because what we have seen over the past 9 episodes for Jack is Jack really trying to process this and really trying to do better.
Right.
And I wonder if they had given Jack the opportunity to do that and the opportunity to be part of the decision-making process. Because the point is that he has no reason to buy in. Right?
Mm-hmm.
None.
His mama said so. His daddy said so.
Right. There's literally no reason for him to buy in. So you interact with Jack, you give him agency, you secure buy-in, and then you cart him off to wherever the fuck.
Right.
And or
maybe
make it make sense. The other part of this that does not make sense to me is you know that you are interacting with somebody who has brain fuckery and you bring 2 eminently takeoverable yellow shirts?
Yeah.
Okay, so are we talking about bad writing here or bad parenting?
Yes.
All of the above.
It's both. Yeah.
Because it's exactly what I thought. I was like, hold up, man. You already know. Everyone already knew that he could take. I mean, at the very least, get some seasoned officers to guard him. You know what I'm saying? Like, not these young guys.
It was a poor choice.
They could have just told him, "Hey, everything's okay." Behind the door was a Care Bear, and then put him to sleep, and then they could have just carted him off.
Funny imagery, but I understand what you're saying.
Right?
Literally, every environmental system in Star Trek can make anesthetine gas. Pump that shit in there and let's move on.
Well, yeah, don't get me started on that gas.
That is literally like section 2 under the nebulas.
Yeah.
Right? And
the amount of times they should have and could have used that to incapacitate people.
You don't even need the gas. Seal the room and drop the atmospheric pressure, and he'll pass out.
Yes.
Also, it's really disturbing me that Keith is like actively, chasing this out, right? Like he's gaming it out. Like there's some anger in you, my friend.
I was about to say, Beverly.
I mean, if you really think about it, this is some stuff that I would say, rest his soul, old Shaw would have done. Like, but at least Picard is trying to, like, it's not perfect and he still missed the mark, but at least he's like, well, I'm not gonna, decompress my son. Like, can I at least, like, I mean, come on. Like, the man doesn't know how to be a father. He has no clue.
That's not necessarily true. He
But
has the
also-
memory of when he went to that place or whatever, and he lived a lifetime.
Inner light.
The inner light, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
had
also,
two
can we have a
kids.
brief conversation that, like, your bar for good fatherhood is not subjecting your kid to the bends? I mean,
I'm just saying.
I gotta tell you, that's a real low bar.
I acknowledge that he still missed the mark, but bruh, he could have done so. But speaking for me personally, he could have done a lot worse. Like a lot worse.
I think
Like,
that was his own trauma and pain and guilt
Right.
all wrapped into that moment.
Right.
Like,
Which is also why Beverly should have been there.
Yeah.
However, there are other things to talk about. Somebody actually brought up Liam Shaw. So let's talk about Liam Shaw.
Rest in peace, Liam Shaw.
7 of 9. He finally said it.
Jason, I can hear your vindication. But we're gonna table that.
Hey, I'm gonna.
Oh wow.
Well, I
Not
love
my favorite.
when Picard said we need to go to Frontier Day. He goes, really? Okay.
Right.
His reaction,
it's like
a genuine reaction.
He is in no discussions on what the ship should do whatsoever.
Yeah.
Ever.
I mean, but I love the like, but we have no choice. Of course we don't.
Yeah.
You know, and in all fairness though, like I can see myself having that reaction.
Yeah.
I literally can hear you say that. Of course we don't, and then we just go. Like
Right? like
Like
Shaw knows he's going into a terrible idea, but like at the same time, he doesn't have an alternative. And I mean, I do have real feelings about taking the Titan into a situation where you know that Starfleet can control your ship. And
Well, he
you
didn't- he
know that
didn't know that.
Starfleet could... No, they did.
yeah, they did.
they knew.
They did?
They knew.
Yeah.
They knew.
That's actually
you're
one of the
right,
really great strengths of Vox is how many of these stray random bits it's picked up
Mhm.
and woven back into the fabric.
Yes. Yeah, it does an excellent job of tying so much together, including things you completely forgot about.
Right. Like, for example, synchronization. Like, they were talking about that in the bar in episode 1.
And well, one callback though, that's what the Girardi Borg did with all the Starfleet ships at the end of last season, and that
Mhm.
clusterfuck of an ending to the season that didn't exist.
What happened at the end of that? I gotta rewatch the end of that.
No, you don't. Don't do it to yourself.
So can we say that future Starfleet will never allow that to happen again?
No.
Probably not.
No.
No.
Oh, there's
mean,
a wonderful documentary
I mean,
about that called Battlestar Galactica. That they
You know, this episode
Oh.
reminded me of Battlestar Galactica.
So
Too, like,
hard.
As soon as they open the
So
star
hard.
base, I'm like, oh, Battlestar Galactica is going to come out. 'cause
Oh my
it's the
god!
only
And then
ship
like
with-
and then Jack turns out to be
Got the
Borg,
network.
and I'm like, oh look, you're 6. I gotcha.
Well, I was gonna say to Jermaine's point about like never allowing synchronization to happen. I just go back to I think that Picard season 3 has finally started to show how we got to where we were with Discovery season 3.
Go on.
Burn.
Okay.
So post the burn, you know, there is this really scared and like terrifying thought in Starfleet that you see in the burn of like, since when did we become isolationists? Since when did we kind of defy and ignore everything that Starfleet stood for?
Mhm.
And you start to see it here now in season 3 that those elements creep in after we've been taken over by the Borg completely and we've been completely held hostage.
Well, I thought that was because of the burn, though. It forced them to.
Well,
That is where the element came from. But I think it also ties back into what we saw with season 1.
I'm gonna need that noise again.
There is
Mhm.
dramatic shift in the mindset and idea of Starfleet, and I really felt like this episode and this season more broadly is really speaking to how these traumatic events can happen in the history of Starfleet, and it shifts the entire mindset to where we almost go back into this, I don't know, scarcity mindset.
Mhm.
Get our higher ideals that all of us have come to cling on to when we think of Starfleet. And so
Klingon.
I also think what you're picking up on is this zeitgeist of American politics flowing through Trek, right?
Yeah.
So if we think of Trek as being the manifestation of truth, justice, and the American way in space, because that's effectively what it was. What Discovery, in terms of actual like chronological timeline, in terms of airtime, Discovery airs during a particularly contentious period, and it's a period that sort of kicks off a period of undermining social institutions in the United States.
Yeah.
And so we're seeing over and over Star Trek, modern Trek, kind of flirting with talking about what should we do when our institutions are failing. What should we do when, you're right, like when something traumatic happens and as a society we all react badly? How much do we throw out? Like, what do we hold on to? And I think there's a great moment, right? Several episodes ago where Vadic is in prison. This is before she takes over the Titan, and Beverly acknowledges that she's lost her compass a bit. And that's, I think, what's going on with Starfleet and the institutions that, our demander of power race is picking up on.
But at this point in time in Starfleet, they don't even have any huge enemies at the moment.
Well,
You mean other than the Borg?
Yeah, the Borg is not. The Borg is not an enemy of theirs right now.
I mean,
they're definitely
the Romulans. The Romulans aren't. The Klingons aren't. The Cardassians aren't. The
Dominion is staying on their side of the galaxy.
Except they're not.
Well,
they didn't know it.
are we saying?
But I think what we're seeing, with Picard too, is this sort of logical fallout from what happened on Mars.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the destruction of Mars, I mean, you can almost trace the level of trauma that they're trying to portray there to the level of trauma that the United States experienced in the wake of 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hate to bring everything back to that, but
I mean, I believe that's what they use that to represent, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
because that's what it was giving for me.
And so that kicks off this whole sort of, as Michael's talking about, like this scarcity mindset, this internalized, almost xenophobic mindset, this pull back to focus on, it's almost like make the Federation great again.
I'm surprised that on Frontier Day on the speech that she didn't mention the fact that there was this huge terrorist event that just happened a few days ago.
Like, why mention that on a celebration day?
Why would she? Yeah.
Because you would mention that because you that's how you show, like, okay, we have strength, whatever.
I mean,
like if it was a great day, you would just not mention 9/11 if it just happened 4 days ago.
She's an admiral, though, not a politician.
Yeah.
And she wasn't really done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
right.
She could have gotten to it.
I feel like there's a much longer demonstration and, like ceremony that was going on. And unfortunately, she gets interrupted, one, by Picard, as Jermaine points out, and then two, interrupted by death.
Yeah.
I mean, and now Riker has the,
Riker should have been the one that interrupted.
Look, I'm sitting here going like, you can shine them Admiral Pips all you want to, but girl, now you dead. Like,
Riker should have been the one to talk to her instead of Picard. That would have made it way better.
I just wish
Originally,
there would have
Riker
been
and Picard
one clip of. I'm sorry, go ahead, Keith.
Riker and Picard were both supposed to give speeches as part of Frontier Day.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
But they were listed as fugitives, so they probably scratched that.
Oh yeah.
I just personally kind of wish that there would have been like a half a second clip of Riker just doing like
side eye.
Yeah. like or
I mean, he does, like when he comments, as Jermaine pointed out, he comments that isn't it ironic that she's espousing something so Borg-like, or rather Picard says it, but Riker's on board with it as being
very
weird.
polite way to put it.
Yeah.
I do think though that it probably would have landed a little better had he said it versus Picard.
Yes, I agree. And I think that's actually kind of one of the series' problems is that it is so Picard centric. Now, yes, I know where you're going. He is the eponymous character.
Actually, I was going somewhere else. I was going.
Well,
to...
Jermaine was looking at me, going, "Well, his name is on the marquee."
I was looking at Michael's tag name. Like that's what I was looking at. Like,
I gotta tell you that sounds like a really sketchy kink site. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, I personally want to know what holodeck program is that.
I just want to point out that
I'm just saying that I am now going to search for LaForgeLovers.com. And, if I make a couple of dollars off of it, I make a couple of dollars off of it.
What do you plan on doing, though?
That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know.
Subscribe and see. Subscribe and see.
I need to know first.
Oh my God.
What is happening?
Is this
Drop something on Twitter
Trackers Delight OnlyFans? Like what?
Like what is?
I mean, that's one way to get more viewers.
The sexed generation. Like what is this? Like, come on.
Keep the content flowing, guys.
Keep the content flowing. I feel like Quark is here right now, and he's just eating this up. Like
his Dabo girls. Yeah.
It's giving Dabo girls. It's giving. I don't know. No, see now. No.
Whiskey or wine?
I can't.
That would be
y'all
whiskey,
make me want to go have a drink right now. Do y'all know how? Lord have mercy. I feel like the only person who would be interested in that holodeck program is Harry Kim. Like that's it. Like
I'm sorry. I am going to need to drink more to get that image out of my head.
I'm screaming. Like
we can hear you.
I did change my name because I think that LaForge in this. In his figuring out, because LaForge, in his very technical, very perfect way, delivered what we also need to talk about, which was one of the most masterful plots that I've ever seen in Star Trek.
What do you mean?
Villain plots. I think like the discussion of it and the weaving from a scientific perspective. We do need to dive into that. But I really think LaForge's character in this is really underrated. I love that he was the one that figured it out with, of course, assistance from his best friend. But I loved his love that he showed for his daughters, even though he knew that there was nothing he could do in his mind, but he was still like, I got to get to my girls. I gotta help my girls.
And then Data stopped him.
And
then Data stopped him.
So there's your one good parent this episode. That's the good parent this episode.
You know what? I felt like they missed out on something with Data as well. And they could have brought in Lal for like one of his little personalities, like for a second.
Well, it's not that it's a personality; it's her memories are there.
Isn't that what people are?
Wow, that got deep.
Aren't you the sum of your memories? And that's pretty much what makes you who you are.
As the episode proved, technically we are.
Yeah.
And so I really think that his character was truly, and his performance in this episode was really underrated. And so, I think building to the buildup he did to Hangar 12, I mean, we all kind of saw it coming.
But also, I was totally along for that ride.
I was totally along. I was
like, I bought my ticket for that Polar Express. Bring me my goddamn bill.
It made me wonder, like, if did the director actually bring them on? Because directors do shit like this sometimes. Bring them on the bridge for the first time, like on the shot, like on the day, like no rehearsals on there. I mean, they knew they were going on, but I would wonder if the director was like, okay, we're not going to have you go on until we start shooting.
The actual reactions. But look, it was when Majel Barrett's voice came on.
Yes. Thank you.
That was it.
Thank you.
And it was perfectly done. Beautifully spliced. Well, and I'm sitting there just like bawling.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just
okay, yes. Can we take this last 15 minutes to like go over that last 3 minutes?
No, we cannot do that yet. We cannot do that yet because we owe Jermaine an answer.
Okay, yes.
What's his question?
It's only taken us 45 minutes to get back to this.
Oh, the transporter.
Yes, the transporter. Okay. So Jermaine's question is he's not sure how like the code thing is working. And so
Oh,
Basically,
on non-humans.
so basically the situation is that there are certain lines of code that are going to be the same throughout all carbon-based life forms, right?
Right.
And rather than rather than using the transporter memory to rebuild you inch by inch by inch, it uses sections of stock code to fill in the blanks so that it actually works faster.
which actually could save you a lot of memory.
And it effectively actually happens today. And it's one of the ways that, for example, our
Video.
voice assistants work.
Right.
Except that for some reason, part of me just I thought they said human.
They did say human because they said Picard
Isn't recognized as human, but you know.
No,
but
they did say it was stock human DNA, that it was copying the human DNA, but also you could do that with any species as well. So every species would have their own separate code that's alike, and then within that
episode of the Next Generation about this, about how all the main species came from that one.
Oh my god! I knew somebody was going to bring the preservers.
I
into
mean,
this.
Come on! It was the original actress that played as the female changeling. Like, I mean, if
and
they
she's
have
fantastic.
you know, but if they have the same, like, here's the thing: they may all be different aliens, but they're all humanoid at the end of the day. Like, so that means they have to have a common something somewhere millions of years ago.
Yes,
like,
which is also one of the criticisms that Star Trek does get, that we do not have enough non-humanoid species that we encounter.
Well, there's two reasons for that.
Prodigy. Right.
One reason is because it's easier for the makeup department to do people that have
that's
two arms, two legs, two eyes, a nose, and a mouth. I mean, it's just easier to do that. The second reason is because we have emotional detachment for things that sort of look like us, that we just do. And the more you get away from that, the more people start to lose empathy for characters.
I mean, I don't know, Boo. Humans can pair bond with just about anything.
I sure can. Like, I mean,
like everything from Curiosity and the Mars rovers, and you can't not possibly tell me that you were not hit in the gut with, you know, the sun is going down, it's getting dark, and my battery is low.
Yeah. I know it was definitely heart-wrenching for a inanimate piece of machinery.
Exactly. We can pair bond with just about anything. That's in fact I think one of our greatest strengths as a species.
We get a lot of different types of aliens in Prodigy and Lower Decks.
Well, yes. But going back to what Jermaine was saying, we had it introduced in Strange New Worlds that you could be you step on the pattern buffer and your tricorder and your communicator will be beamed down with you.
That's true.
And they even hinted at it in Star Trek First Contact that it was the transporter that changed them into the 21st century clothing rather than them actually getting changed. So we already had it hinted that they could change clothing and they could add items to you. So now they're just changing a little bit of your genetic code as well.
Also, can we talk about this question? This is a great question.
It's a very deep question. I like it.
And on the one hand, it kind of goes back to the facilities, right, that we had throughout 90s Trek. It's a little bit different now, I think. And I think, too, there is very definitely a Federation bias toward human-looking creatures.
Yep.
I mean,
and they get called out for it in Star Trek 6.
I mean, it's not that far-fetched from if you think about the Voyager episode, Distant Origin, was it?
Yeah.
Is that the dinosaur episode?
That's the dinosaur episode. Yeah. And
I spent most of Monday torturing my children with dinosaurs.
Right. And so we see how those dinosaurs or humanoid dinosaur-esque alien things view the rest of the galaxy alone. So it's not that different that humanoids or humans would have that same somewhat
good point. But then I would also add that we now know that exocomps are a part of the Federation. So we are. I don't
want to be reminded that. I don't
want to be reminded. Everybody wanted to hear it. Peanut hamper.
No, I can't get that scene out of my head. Like, no.
And you had to bring it back for all of us. Thanks, William. Thanks.
Look, I don't know.
So we are going to take a hard segue into talking about. We're going to take a hard.
Wait, can we?
We're going to take a hard segue into talking about how awesome it was to see the Enterprise D. God damn it!
Oh,
That's what
now
we're
you
gonna
want to
do.
talk about the Enterprise D? No, let's go back to the Eagles, okay?
Wait,
No,
we
no
need to
Eagles,
okay.
no.
We need to talk about how masterful this plot was, and I think the biological part that we just talked about, which is literally the assumption of DNA, random DNA, and the incorporation of that, is great in talking about how they took one of the most innocuous things in Star Trek, which is a transporter ride, and made it the most vicious and dangerous thing that we have seen in Star Trek in.
It's always been the most
Ever.
vicious.
So
It's
Dr.
always,
Is-
it's always
that-
been the most vicious and dangerous thing in Star
So
Trek.
Bones was right.
Bones was right.
The transporter.
Can we talk about why Ensign Rowe? I'm sorry, Commander Rowe knew not to take the transporter?
Because she's smart.
Duh.
Because she knows everything. Also,
Yes.
speaking of like a transporter distaste, did anybody else catch the USS Pulaski?
What?
I did
Where?
not.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, no, there's literally a whole conversation. I mean, there's a brief mention about the USS Pulaski like
Oh, do tell.
getting into formation.
Yo, is the actor still alive?
Yeah,
Diana
Diana
Muldaur
Muldaur-
is not. She is
Oh.
still with us. She is not dead. She's still with us.
Okay.
And it would be fantastic if she had not had such a terrible experience on the Next Generation set, if she would be willing to come back to do this, because then she would have done all the major eras of Trek, because she started in the original series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she played two different parts in
Yeah.
the original series.
She
Yeah.
did, right? Like my favorite is when she's the blind empath, but you know.
Yeah.
Okay, now we can talk about the Enterprise D.
Now,
I wanted it to have just more time, and you all, everybody wants to get to the Enterprise D and just talk about the
Enterprise.
carpet or some shit.
I mean, it's
well,
the Enterprise
apparently they
D.
do go to. They will be in engineering next week for a scene. You will have Geordi going back down to engineering.
Of
I
course.
thought they would have had more shots like they did in the Star Trek movie of them in the shuttlecraft.
Oh my god, I was thinking about like
I'm
that
so glad they
long
didn't.
that long money shot. Let's be real. That long money shot in TMP is about the best part of the movie.
It is, and it's a true test of whether or not you have a Star Trek fan watching with you, or you're raising a Star Trek fan. If they watch
Right.
that scene and go, "Ooh,"
Because I won't lie to you. Are you talking about that final scene before the Enterprise goes to warp? Are you talking about that?
no,
No,
Are you
we're
are you
talking
talking
about
about
like when
Space
they're
dock.
in the
The space
shuttle
dock
and it's
scene?
in space dock and they're just basically doing this long panoramic track. I mean, it's nearly pornographic.
No,
I mean,
the only other.
I mean, yeah. Like,
It's like a
anti-gravity
Deep Space
thing?
Nine. It's like a Deep Space Nine shot of 10 shots.
I
But-
mean,
but
it's like
longer-
a deep space.
longer
It's
shot.
like
that.
it's like a Deep Space Nine shot that lasts 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's really just like a whole orchestral scene. Like that's just like. But I mean, now as a kid, I was rather bored with it. I was like, okay, they get. Can we get on the ship now? Like now, I'm just like, that's a beautiful ship.
I
Except
love that.
put- except
I love
put
that
it in
lower decks, by
context.
the way.
Yes,
Except-
that was a good gag.
Yes,
But put that shot in context, guys. Put that shot in context. These are people who had campaigned to have a third season, thought they were safe. Turns out they weren't. They lost their fandom, and then had been basically keeping the fandom alive with mimeograph machines and postage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
this-
we get the motion picture,
Yeah.
and that shot is for those people.
I feel like it was the first. I feel like it was the first shot of like a spaceship that was really a character. You know, they really built a character out of the Enterprise over the 3 years, and
Well,
like you never really saw them like really like beautify a spaceship the way they did in that scene in that movie.
I have a question. If that scene was so good, how come the motion picture isn't taken as well then?
because that's
Because
the
it's
only good
terrible.
part of it.
Because there's another hour and 53
No,
minutes.
hour.
Right.
I enjoyed it. I don't know what was so
It's-
bad about it.
And also there was a pederast in the movie,
But
so that's a
better
problem.
than
It was
better than
bloated,
Final
it was
Frontier and
over-
Nemesis.
How about the 5 minutes of orchestral beginning before you even got?
Still better than Final Frontier and Nemesis.
No, and I can't believe this is actually about to come out of my mouth. Please forgive me right now, Star Trek gods. I actually like Star Trek. Star Trek 5 more than I like the motion picture.
First of all, the fact that that thing was called Beeger because it was like
Yeah,
letters
right.
locked out on the side. It was just,
I
This was
like
1979. Cut them a break. Like
no,
Right.
absolutely. I am
No.
absolutely cutting them a break, and I understand exactly what they were doing, and I get that they were pulling off. I think it's DC Fontana actually that had that short story.
But
Maybe
Star Trek 5?
I know.
Well,
I have
I'm never gonna let this go. I'm never gonna let this go.
We're gonna okay. So during the hiatus, we're gonna do another Star Trek 5 episode in which
I would
in which
love
I
to.
justify like my weird.
I would
Well,
love to
love
hear
we're
your
going to
hates.
give you about a whole 7 minutes for that because, baby, you got a lot of explaining to do.
Okay.
No,
that
we're gonna do
said-
it. We're gonna do a show on it. Don't worry.
That said,
Don't
we have-
worry.
That said, we have 5 minutes left. Can we please talk about the Enterprise D? Please.
Valid.
please,
I am
please.
so sorry.
I just want to point out that it was that somebody had gotten screen grabs of them on the Enterprise and put them online. And for those who chose to be, they could have been spoiled by that little fact. I chose to be, and it was still beautiful to see it on screen.
Hello from
Hey,
Manchester.
Virgil.
Hey,
Hey, Virgil.
welcome.
Hello, Virgil. Welcome. Who are you?
He's from
From
Manchester.
Manchester.
That's where he's from. I want to.
I mean, the home of Man U, man.
I know, right? I'm
That's
just
the thing that just came out of my mouth. My bad.
Okay.
And we lost Jason.
I swear to God, I didn't do anything. Oh,
I appreciate it. He's like, who am
hi,
I? I'm
Virgil.
Virgil.
Nice to meet you, my love.
Yeah, we're
Virgil,
clearly doing.
How
we're
much
clearly
did
doing
you,
a show.
on a scale of 1 to 10?
Oh my God, no.
No, we're not doing that right now. Let's just talk about it bit by bit, what we were feeling when we saw what we saw. Like,
Yeah.
let's get
And Virgil, feel free to weigh in. Like, did you
Please.
love this moment?
I
Did you
heard
hate
that,
this
Michael.
moment?
Like,
The fact it wasn't just the D, but it was the Next Generation Series D, not the modified. build up
right? It's not
Generations
even
D.
the modified Enterprise D or that they didn't do none of that. It was they literally built it to a T. I'm sitting here going like, yo, oh my God. Like, and here's the thing for all you people, I've been waiting to say this. For everyone that has been complaining about the show being too dark, are you happy now?
Yes, I could see things.
I am happy about the lighting on the Enterprise D. I am very excited about it.
I was
Hopefully
like,
Star-
look, I can actually see that Worf's bandolier is different.
Yep.
That was the first time I've been able to like process that visually. I mean, I guess the lights off, like the balance is off in my TVs, but I was just like, oh, that's cool.
No, the balance isn't off. It's the fact that they actually added light to the goddamn scene. Like they were
and
like,
I
"Oh
see
my
it was-
god!"
Also, I
somebody-
really love how like Jermaine is over here like rolling his eyes at us, like y'all blind. I mean, I love it.
Y'all, I need a drink. I can't with y'all right now. I can't even get arrested in this. What are you talking
Okay.
about?
I'm not even sure how to take the
Okay.
birds, man. Like you're gonna have to flesh that
know.
out for me. I've never actually been to Manchester, so yeah. What?
Yeah.
I can't
Oh.
even get arrested in this town.
Most
The
of what I know
birds are
from
really
Manchester
fussy around
We're
here.
not going to
So-
dwell on those things.
No,
But
we're
you
gonna
know-
we're gonna go back to that amazing carpet, right? Like
Okay, so I feel like was that a Picard line or was that a Patrick Stewart line? Where did that line come from?
I think that was a Patrick Stewart line. Like that just seems like something that they, to Jermaine's point about just having them like for the first time on the set. I feel like they were like, "You're going to be on the set," and he like ad-libbed that because everybody was like, if you look at Worf's face when it was said, he was like, I'm about to actually break character for a moment because this is not what I was expecting to hear. It was just great. It was very authentic. And, it was, yeah.
did anybody else love it when, Worf is bitching about the weapon systems and Troy is just like, Worf!
I feel like because when it comes
Rein
to
that shit in!
Actually, what I really liked, especially like once they were like, okay, our geekdom over the D is over with. They all just got back to
My
are
geekdom
set
over the
in
D
their-
is
in their
never over.
places.
their
No.
original places, their
Exactly.
original places.
That's what I love.
Geordi back at the helm.
No,
Yeah.
You got to go
Mhm.
back season 1 to get
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, you do.
Mhm.
When Geordi was wearing
But-
red,
that. Yeah.
Yeah, but he was still over engineering, even though he sat where he used to sit. He was still over engineering, like because he told Data to put in the coordinates.
Right.
And the only thing that was missing was Tasha Yar. Take it back to season 1.
Who?
You're on that.
Tasha Yar.
I know. No. This is not going to become your thing. Calm down.
I'm calm.
Fair enough.
What are we talking about?
I don't know.
Apparently
That's why I
getting
put it up.
getting laid in Manchester. But also
Anyway, yes, go on.
But also,
please.
can we have a brief conversation? I know we're going over, Jermaine. Calm down. Can we have a brief conversation about why the hell Geordi has torpedoes in a museum?
I was kind of wondering. I'm like, what torpedoes do you have in
Right?
a museum?
He's
Like,
like, I mean, just casually, I have drones loading torpedoes in the base. Like, what?
But I would also say that it's a fully armed space station, and so my thing is,
ooh,
it
okay,
has
good
to
point.
defend
Good point.
itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so somewhat defend itself. I see that. I can kind of see that.
I mean, yes, but I can't imagine that they put the Fleet Museum somewhere too far outside of Federation space.
But that wouldn't stop the Ferengi or the Drukmani from coming in to try to take what they want.
Yeah, but I
Salvage
can't
your
see them. I can't see them coming into the Sol system. Did anybody else really dig the Sector 001?
Yeah.
I mean, there was
Reference.
a reference there. Yeah, basically back to where it all
Sector
started.
001.
And they gave it to Sydney LaForge. I was so excited about that. Like again, she has been nailing it.
Yes.
Just nailing it.
But isn't she the one that was an actor like in real life before this?
Yeah.
Yes.
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 Ashley Chestnut. Yeah.
I only have one critique. As much as I give a 20 out of 10 for this scene, I only have one critique.
Oh god.
I kind of just one. I kind of wish that we would have met like Geordi's wife and said, honey, kind of heard what happened.
I'm hoping it's Aquiel.
Like, I kind of hope.
I don't know
wanted-
if I feel dirtier
wait,
about it if it's
no.
Aquiel
No,
or
no,
if it's
no.
Leah Brahms. I honestly don't know.
Hey,
It will not
like,
be Leah Brahms.
No. But like, I was kind of
Maybe
hoping we meet her.
Kirby
Like,
had his way.
hey, honey.
How about Sonya
I heard
Gomez?
what happened. I saw what happened. I figured we might want to go ahead and get this ship ready. Here you go. Like, all systems are ready. I took care of that nacelle problem you thought you didn't handle. I'm like, ooh, that's what I was kind of hoping to see, but we don't even know her name. Like,
Also, apparently I'm about 13 because you're talking about all systems go and getting that nacelle ready, and my brain just went to bad places.
Well,
y'all, I'm trying to be good, and y'all trying to bring me back. Like,
be good, Will. Stay in the good place. Can I honestly tell you all something? With
I'm a strictly medium place kind of girl.
what
With
do you
the-
have to
I
tell
know-
us?
something else.
I know we have somewhere to be, but like something else to get to. But I just want to say, I loved so many scenes in this episode. I did not actually overall like this episode. Like, there were so many good parts.
It was better than the last, I thought.
I mean, for sure, but that's not a high bar.
But
I hate to say this. Oh my god, I'm about to agree with Michael. So
You're
like, I'm
about
gonna
to
have to take
agree
a
with
really
Michael?
long shower.
Do you know who are you? Like,
I know. But like, I feel that way. I feel like there were so many amazing parts.
amazing.
Like, I mean, even going back to Jack, that all of you hate, like that moment where he is just sobbing, like staring at the Borg Queen, is also really powerful.
Yeah, definitely.
So there are these amazing little moments, and there's nothing I can really point to explain to you why I'm just kind of about this episode.
It felt like it jumped from great moment to great moment. And it just, for me, I think there was a level of not even cohesion, but like, it was just something that felt like it was missing. But I will say, to end on a positive note, if I may, I am so fucking excited to see what the fuck they do with 7 of 9 and how she takes back the Titan. And I think it could probably be a whole Trek short, but goddamn.
Can we not forget that Raffi's there with her, by the way?
Yes,
which
Raffi's
we
there.
need
Yes, but
to hear them have a
I'm a
conversation.
Voyager fan. I love Raffi, but I'm a Voyager fan, and I'm glad she finally has something to do. And maybe if they do it as a Trek short, she can actually have like
Right, she just showed up. Like,
Yeah.
where you been at?
But also, can we talk about it? That's actually great. I love that that you brought this up because I would have forgotten about it. But like, there's this amazing moment, right? Like where Seven and Raffi have the option of getting on that maintenance shuttle, right? And they choose not to. Seven refuses to abandon Shaw. Raffi refuses to abandon Seven.
Right.
So they still love each other. So did they really break up? That's what I want to know.
You never really do.
Yeah.
Child, it's called.
No.
child,
I can. In my
Never
current
mind.
life, I can
Never
tell
mind.
you.
Never
Really
mind.
did.
Forget what I said.
I think we're gonna see the character of Raffi in later iterations of Star Trek.
Come on, Legacy.
Yeah.
I do.
No, I seriously,
And soon.
I want the happy lesbians in space, like kicking ass and taking names,
I
and
that
maybe
movie?
bring
That
Eleanor
movie?
back.
Yeah.
Jermaine!
Who?
Jermaine!
Bring back Eleanor.
Wait.
Jermaine!
Who?
Oh my god, I needed that. I needed that. Literally to
We are just clarifying for everybody watching. It is not weed.
again, who the hell are you? Like, wait,
Y'all are hating on me. That's okay.
We are
No, we're
not
not
hating
hating
on
on
you
you.
at all. Like nobody is hating on you. We are
It's not you,
legitimately
it was
like
a
we're
comment.
legitimately perplexed by like Weed Man. Like
Yes. Mr. Kane here has got us a little sidetracked.
that's
I forgot
true,
what we were
that's true.
talking about.
Some
We were
random,
talking about like lesbians in space and like like
it's some
Raffi
random
and
space elf that used to wield a sword and apparently it was able to kick phasers' asses.
yes.
He can't be
Bless his
Worf.
heart.
Can he be Worf?
Okay.
He can't be Worf.
Okay.
And
yeah.
actually, I've got to tell you, like, I kind of want like Worf involved in this. Like,
I think it's
because,
gonna
like,
happen.
I think it's gonna happen.
I know that Lower Decks is supposed to be the Star Trek sitcom. I know, but like, can we also talk about how like that would be amazing? Like, we would have Raffi
Weed Man.
and Seven working out whether or not they're a couple, and Worf over here playing the perplexed straight man. Hilarious.
I mean, we need a cantankerous old coot to be on Legacy, so that may as well be Worf.
Oh yeah.
It would have been
was
nice.
fantastic.
On, yeah.
It would have been
Like,
nice
Michael
for Worf to
Dorn's-
have him a Klingon girlfriend to just by his side. That would be dope.
Oh no,
I kinda wanna see
I think
Alexander.
being a part of 50 more episodes.
I don't even need that. I need Worf to just be the straight man going, I am so far enlightened. I have worked on myself past the point of needing this type of companionship.
Slices another head off.
Right. and like body parts and viscera go flying across the screen.
Just beheading random Ferengi and just like, oh, sorry.
And he said, that Raffi says, but today's not Wednesday. On Vulcan, it is.
I mean, yes, guys, yes. Like this I don't know why I need this, but I really need this in my life.
I feel like we're gonna get it. I feel like we're going to get it. This is my last thought on it. I feel like season 3 is like one big apology for season 1 and season 2, because if you really think about it, all of what you said is valid. There's a lot of amazing moments.
I know
Okay.
everything I've
A
said
lot
is valid. I said it.
Of course. So a lot of amazing moments. So if I were a writer and I was like, dang, let me try. This is the last time we're going to have this crew together like this. Let me give them exactly what they asked for. Now, it may not be as clean as it might be, but hey, at least they did it. You know?
But they did do a great job of giving us what they said they were, which was a lot of nostalgia. You got so much from DS9. We got stuff from Voyager, stuff from TNG.
everywhere.
Everywhere. They're pulling things from everywhere. Which
Is anyone concerned about the
We
title for
didn't get
next week?
tolerance.
The Last Generation.
Yeah, like I'm not ready. I'm really not ready to walk away with like everybody dying.
I think
Yeah,
everybody
really
dies.
not.
They're not going to die.
think
It's just
everybody's
that
gonna
what we
die.
know as the next generation is now the last generation. So, you know.
All right, Keith, I couldn't hear you.
No, not everyone's gonna die. I mean, Terry Matalas did an interview last week and said he basically hinted at who's gonna make it out alive in the series, and
I think everybody should die and they should all live in Data somehow.
Well,
You know, I didn't like the
Whoever
dollhouse
did it,
ending.
they did a better transition than me.
I did not like the dollhouse ending. I'm not gonna like it when they do it with TNG. So no. Pass.
So is it really like who are we worried that is gonna die, or we just don't want to say our goodbyes yet?
Yes.
Not ready.
Because here's the thing, it's like, how do we all feel right now that we get to see them one more time?
Jordy's gonna die saving his daughters.
No. No.
No, Jordy's
Jason,
not
I
gonna
agree
die.
with you.
No. he
Jordy's
ain't
not gonna
die.
die. No. Because Jordy's been doing the right thing. They're not gonna kill off Jordy.
But I feel like LeVar Burton did an interview like during the pandemic, and he said something about like not he had grown past Star Trek, but he was like, I appreciate the time that I've spent in Star Trek, but that's not who I am.
That was him playing nice in that they haven't called me yet, and I'm trying to not be pissed about that.
Because you know,
And
LeVar
also,
Burton
like LeVar Burton has been like a legitimate tentpole for
Crusher.
this season.
Yeah.
Crusher, Crusher has been so underutilized.
maybe that's the one who passes away.
Yeah, no. If they kill off Deanna Troy, I'm gonna be real mad.
If they kill off Deanna Troy,
notice
I'm giving
we're
it
just-
0 out of 10. Go
We're
ahead.
literally keep saying every character we're getting who you can't kill, and then we've gone through all 7 guys. We've literally
We
gone
haven't.
through everyone.
I see
yeah.
zero problem with this.
My
oh my
thing
god, that's
is,
how we're gonna end the episode. You have to say who you think is gonna die.
No, that is not how we're gonna end the episode
no,
because Keith actually
no.
has like a legitimate news update. He knows shit, and we should possibly like
I'm
convey that
sorry,
knowledge.
That's
to
my
other
favorite
people.
line. He knows shit.
No
He's not gonna
spoilers.
just speak from speculation and demand that we see power rates at some point in this season.
No.
Michael.
Why? It makes no sense.
Listen,
Picard had shit to do with the Paul race. Why?
You gonna piss Keith off.
I don't know. I feel like Keith
Keith is
we've
giving me
now
so much
dragged
life right
Keith
now.
to our level. And
I have
that's,
been
I don't know
pushing
if
this
you're
damn
proud of
storyline, and I'm not letting go yet.
Yes, Keith. Yes.
Like I said, we have now dragged Keith to our level, and I don't know if I'm super proud of that or ashamed or some combination of the above.
Well, look, after Keith does the news, I would like Jason to like send us off because I think Jason has talked the least today.
That's fair.
Ever?
That's fair. And
Okay.
Jason has all the Shaw hate, so like he deserves to be able to say that.
Shaw's dead.
Please continue.
All right, one
Give
thing
us
I'll
the
say-
news.
All right, Keith is gonna do the news update because again, he knows things.
Well, quick, before the news, I just want to point out the fact that season 1 was written by, it was show run by Michael Chabon, and they started writing the episodes for season 2 before Chabon left the show and Terry Matalas took over. So, and they filmed seasons 2 and 3 back to back. So Matalas took over and had what was left over from Chabon's run, and that's why season 2 was what it
Choppy.
ended up being.
But they
And-
also invented trash cans.
Yeah, but dealing with the pandemic, dealing with scheduling, they couldn't just throw things out like that. And Matalas was asked why so little Deanna Troy. He's like, you realize she lives in London. So
Valid
yes, it was all about her availability to get her there to be in so many episodes. So that's kind of why, even though Matalas took over with season 2, it took until season 3 for his fingerprints to really get on the whole storyline.
Has Troy ever done such invasive therapy before?
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Yeah,
The closest thing, I
We
won't
had to-
call it
Eyes
invasive,
in
but
the
her
dark.
mother. It was her
One
mother.
moon circles.
Well, that was one. And then
But
you
she
got
was
to think
possessed.
about
Dark Pages, the episode with her mother, and then the episode with the guy who jumped into the nacelle, who fried him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
there was that one. But there was a reason.
And you
for
got to
that.
think about the times that Deanna was violated, like raped mentally. Like,
Yes,
I don't think about those times.
well, it happened like twice. Like,
right. But she got revenge in Nemesis. So
oh yeah,
I
she
also
kicked
have
his
to
ass.
do a plug now because Will said this. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and if you are a victim of sexual assault, we encourage you to get help. whether that is from police, from mental health counselor, or seeking out a resource that is most appropriate for you. Please, 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 if you are a victim of, or dealing with sexual assault, please get help.
And call Virgil.
Oh, don't call Virgil.
No, don't.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
First,
It's the public health in me, guys. You know,
No, we got it. I get it. News. Like, save
Okay.
us from ourselves, Keith.
First, a big announcement. If you live in 26 select cities, you have a chance to watch this episode of Picard and next week's finale in IMAX theaters.
I'm so
I know
bitter.
in Washington, D.C., they made it available at noon, and by 6 p.m. it was sold out, and it was a free ticket.
Oh,
So
there you go.
So tickets went pretty quick, but it's a
By
chance.
4 p.m. it was sold out.
Oh, 4 p.m. Okay.
I saw that too, Jermaine.
I'm pissed.
Oh boy.
What's next, Keith?
Okay.
Done.
Now, we had an announcement from Sirach Lofton appearing on another podcast announcing that May 22nd will be the first annual The Cisco Day, commemorating all things Benjamin Lafayette Cisco. And it's based on the day that based on the star date that he officially took control of Deep Space Nine in the year 2369. They're declaring that day, and there's going to be panels, there's going to be discussions, and here's hoping that Avery Brooks decides to be part of it.
Would be nice.
Also, by the way, Sirach Lofton, if you have a spare moment on a Thursday, we'd love to see you.
Yes.
We would love to
You're
see
more
you.
than welcome
Isn't it
there.
Cinco de Mayo, though?
No, that's not Cinco de
That's the
Mayo.
Cinco de
5th
Mayo
of
is
May.
literally
This
the
is the
5th of May.
22nd of May.
Oh, I thought it was the 5th of May. Sorry. I thought it was the 5th of May.
22 de Mayo.
No,
That
I
was
thought
painful.
the date-
Don't do
never
that
mind, I just
again.
read wrong.
Okay. We have a new comic series coming out that is in the motion picture, the Star Trek motion picture comic series.
Why?
5-issue run, and it's all set around the storyline in that. The Star Trek Adventures tabletop RPG game has added a lower decks section, now available seasons 1 and 2 with free digital assets available online, and
Ooh.
season 3 coming later this year.
Okay.
Now, for those of you that, as part of your watching it, Picard has included watching Will Wheaton with the Ready Room, you'll notice it was missing today because of
did.
how big of the spoilers were for this episode. They chose to postpone Ready Room until Saturday, and they're going to do the same thing next week because they want people to watch it and process it and not share Ready Room clips and therefore spoil what's happening in next week's episode.
So, belated spoiler warning.
Oh, yeah. By the way, before we get to Jason, I just want to point out that if you like what we're doing here, show your support. Like, share, comment, because we love doing this. We're doing this for free.
Yeah.
And if you would like to see more of our quality content, make sure to give us a like on YouTube. Love on a heart on Facebook means more than a like on Facebook. So
We love each other. We're like a
love,
family.
and we can do more.
That's what I was gonna say.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, we are waiting for your epic Shaw hate, and you cannot disappoint us. Come on,
No,
Jason.
no. Okay, first of all, as soon as he said go, I was like, he's finna die. As soon as he told everybody to go to the ship, I was like, oh, he's out of there. Oh well, sorry, Shaw. I just think,
episodes overdue.
Maybe it's not his fault, because they did just kind of take over his ship and really just took it over. But I just, never thought he was that great of a captain. Sorry, Captain.
We
Shaw.
know.
We know. It's okay.
I'm not going to say I'm happy Captain Shaw died. If that's what you want me to say,
No.
I don't think you mean that.
Well, I
really
do
don't
think it's
you mean
funny.
that.
I do think it's funny how he told Seven, it's your ship now. I would have been like, yeah, man, because that's the rank.
Bro,
Literally.
this is why we are not casted in sci-fi films. You are literally Don Cheadle talking to Captain America, and you didn't think to jump out of the plane.
Bombs on the
Like,
plane.
this is why they don't cast us in movies.
I
Okay,
didn't say something that we don't already know, like something profound.
bro. No,
don't even know how to respond
I'm
to
trying to
that.
be in
Like, I
Star
know.
Trek one day.
I'm just kidding. That was very touching moment. because Seven really respected him in that moment. You know how she like.
Well, he called her by her name. He
Right,
finally
7 of 9.
accepted her.
Right? I wish Eris were here because there's a real trans metaphor.
Yes, definitely.
He did. I did recognize that. He called her 7 of 9, and
Yeah, considering at the time they're being attacked by the Borg, for him to finally accept the former Borg.
Yes.
right. Instead of saying you're one of them, aren't you?
And attempting to save Picard's life. I mean, like that was his. He was trying to save Picard.
Like
of all
he is
people.
legit. Yeah, like you're right. He legit actually interposes himself, and he is like taking fire to give
Them
like
a chance to escape.
the geriatric brigade time to get on the shuttle.
Yeah, he had his hero moment.
Will he get his own ship, the Shaw,
Wow.
He should
Give it 20 years.
Yeah.
USS Shaw?
We can
Okay.
only
Anyway-
hope. I mean, I suspect
anyway.
we're going to need a whole bunch of new ships, guys. Like I
feel
feel like
we're
we're about
gonna
to
get a
lose
bunch of new
one.
ships. Yeah.
We'll see it in Discovery if it's going to happen. We'll see it in Discovery, right?
Yes, it would need
All
to
right.
be the Liam Shaw, because then you'll confuse it with the George Bernard Shaw. Nobody wants that.
Oh yeah.
Yes, no one
I
wants
can't believe
to
you went to
lose.
George Bernard Shaw. All right, so Bernard.
I think we should go out on a song that we should have went out on season 7.
Excuse me.
I'm not season 7, episode 7. And it goes, hands touching hands.
Nope.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Everyone, you are welcome.
And he's still singing. He's still singing.
I am glad that Admiral Shelby didn't say that there was a long time cutting from there for here.
All right, guys. So obviously next week, same bat time, same bat channel. As Keith has asked, please like, subscribe, share. Let us know what you'd like to see because we're going to come up on a hiatus for reasons. Yeah. Great episode. Look forward to
10
the
weeks.
finale. And live long and prosper and beautiful bean footage.
See ya.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm not gonna ever say it on the internet. Yeah, never. yeah. I was watching-
I'm sorry. Wait. There was a shadow of a church.
Okay. What?
William has
Okay,
questionable
I didn't
ideas
catch
about
that
what he
one.
puts.
I didn't
William
catch
has
that
questionable ideas about what he puts on the internet.
Oh, I remember that episode.
Uh-huh.
I remember that episode. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Wait, what? Wait.